Hello everyone and welcome to game 100 of my 1986 New York Mets replay. We are at Shea Stadium for game 2 of a 3-game series against the Montreal Expos. The date is the 2nd of August 1986 and current record in the replay is 56 and 43 for the Mets. It should be 67 and 32. The pitcher on the mound today is Rick Aguilera, and Rick Aguilera is currently a record of 6 and 5 with a save and an ERA of 4.59. Pardon me for coughing. I've got a new setup today. Let's trying this out. And let's go down to the ballpark to see the lineups. For the Montreal Expos, who, just as a note, yesterday lost shortstop HOU Brooks and catcher Mike Fitzgerald to the disabled list, and are currently waiting on two players to come up. Luis Rivera, a shortstop, and Dan Bilardello, who is another catcher, but they haven't made it in time for the game, so they've only got 23 players on their roster for this game. So the Montreal Expos leading off is shortstop Tom Foley, batting second centre fielder Mitch Webster, batting third left fielder Tim Raines. Pardon me, I think a bit of hay fever. Batting fourth right fielder Andre Dawson, batting fifth third baseman Tim Wallach, batting sixth first baseman Wayne Krenchiski, batting seventh second baseman Vance Law, batting eighth is the catcher Tim Nieto, and on the mound and batting ninth is Bob Sebra. For your New York Mets, leading off centre fielder Lenny Dykstra, batting second baseman Wally Backman, batting third first baseman Keith Hernandez, batting fourth and cleanup is the catcher Gary Carter. Batting in fifth is the right fielder Darryl Strawberry. Batting sixth is the left fielder Kevin Mitchell. Batting in the seventh slot is the third baseman Ray Knight. And batting in the eighth slot is shortstop Rafael Santana. And the pitcher is Rick Aguilera, and he's batting ninth. We're going out to the mound, ready to start this game. And here comes the first pitch, and he strikes him out. First pitch, and Tom Foley lets the high fastball, but not high enough. Brings up Mitch Webster. Mitch Webster is batting left, so here comes the pitch from Rick Aguilera, and he pops that up out to the second base, and an easy catch for Wally Backman, and we've got two away. Tim Raines coming in, the left fielder, and he swings at the pitch, and he gets good contact out to left field, and it gets a double. So the first man is on board, Tim Raines. And that brings Andre Dawson to the plate. Here comes the pitch from Rick Aguilera, and he lines that out to Ray Knight at third base, and that will end the inning. The Expos leave one on and no runs. So Bob Sebra warming up, ready to start the bottom of the first. And here comes the pitch, and Dykstra grounds that out to third baseman Tim Wallach for an easy throw over to Wayne Krenchicki on first base, and that's the first out. 5-3 ground out. Wally Backman comes to the plate. And here comes the pitch from Sebra. He grounds that out to shortstop Tom Foley for the second out. Keith Hernandez. And takes ball 4, so the first walk gets Hernandez on base. And brings up Gary Carter in the cleanup spot. Here comes the pitch on the stadium card. And he'll get a single. Could possibly stretch this to a double out to right fielder. So let's have a see what's going to happen with this. So the base running of Carter is a 2 minus the arm of the right fielder, which is a 2, so it's a 0. So anything but a 6. Oh, and he gets caught. Gets caught trying to make a double. Hernandez will go over to third, but Carter will be out 9-4, and that will end the inning. Carter trying to stretch out to a double and gets caught. So after the end of the first inning, the score is all square at 0-0. So coming up in the top of the second is Tim Wallach, Wayne Krenchicki, and Vance Law. Here comes the pitch, and that is grounded out to Rafael Santana over to Keith Hernandez for the first out of the inning. Wayne Krenchicki. And the pitch from Rick Aguilera is going to go out towards first baseman Hernandez, and he'll pick the ball up and step on the bag for the second out. 2 away in the top of the second. Vance Law. There's going to be a range play. So that ball is going to be hit out to Rafael Santana. And Santana will make the play for a line out to the shortstop, and that will end the inning. And as we go into the bottom of the second, there is no score. So Bob Sebra back on the mound warming up. He's going to face Strawberry, Mitchell, and Knight in this second inning. And Strawberry swings at the pitch and misses. A low fastball for the first strikeout of the game for Sebra, and the first away in the second for the Mets. Kevin Mitchell. Here comes the pitch. And he grounds that out to Tim Wallach at third, and he will make the play over to first for the second out. Ray Knight. And he swings and he misses and strikes him out for the end, to bring an end to the second. And after 2, we have no score. So Aguilera back on the mound and facing Jim Nieto, the new catcher, Bob Sebra, and then back to the top of the order with Tom Foley. Here comes the pitch, and Nieto swings but misses and strikes out. Second strikeout for Aguilera. Bob Sebra, the pitcher. Could be an error if it's a grounder. Here comes the pitch, and Sebra gets that past shortstop Rafael Santana for a single, so the pitcher gets on base. And coming up, Tom Foley, top of the order, for 0 for 1 with a strikeout. So it's going to be the pitch at the ballpark. And that is going to be hit to third baseman Ray Knight. Could this be a double play? Let's have a look. 1. And the catcher is a 1, so 2 will do it, and it's not going to be a double play, but they will get Sebra on a 6-4, and Foley will reach on a fielder's choice. So next up, Mitch Webster, 0 for 1, popped out in the first. Could be an error if there's a throw involved. Here comes the pitch, and it's going to be a single out to right field. The man on first. Let's have a look. S9 going to third is going to be a +2, so he is 5. There's 2 outs, so that's a 6. He's going to get to third. And so man on the corners with 2 out. And Raines is going to try and steal a base. So let's have a look. 14, 15, and 16. Once 16 is going to steal a base, and he doesn't. So he gets caught stealing, and that will end the inning. No runs as we go into the bottom of the third. So Bob Sebra warming up. He's going to face Santana, Aguilera, and Lenny Dykstra. Here comes the pitch from Sebra to Santana. And Santana lines that out to his counterpart at shortstop, Tom Foley, for the first out. Pitcher Rick Aguilera. And he strikes him out for the third strikeout for Bob Sebra. 2 outs, and they'll go to the top of the order with Lenny Dykstra. Here comes the pitch from Bob Sebra. And that is hit for a double out to right field. So the right fielder, Andre Dawson, collects it, but not in time to stop Dykstra getting his double. The infield is back because there's 2 outs. Wally Backman. Possibly walked, but no. So here comes the pitch. And that's a single out past the shortstop. So an S6. He's on second. Second to home is 3 or 6, and he gets home. And so that drives in Lenny Dykstra for the first run of the game. Willie Backman getting the RBI. And up comes Keith Hernandez. Walked in his first at bat, well, when his first plate appearance. And the pitch grounds it out to the shortstop, and that will end the inning, but not before the first run comes across the plate. And as we go to the top of the fourth, the Mets lead the Expos 1-0. So Rick Aguilera coming up against Raines, Dawson and Wallach. Tim Raines 1-for-1 with a double. And here comes the pitch. And he hits that high to the centre fielder. And Lenny Dykstra takes a couple of steps to his left and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Andre Dawson 0-for-1 with a line out at his first at bat. Here comes the pitch from Aguilera. And that is hit out to centre field and a single. So it gets on base. And that brings up Tim Wallach 0-for-1. Grounded out in his first at bat. And here comes the pitch. And that's a single out past the shortstop. And that will mean that Wallach will go to second. So we've got men on first and second with one out. Wayne Krenchicki 0-for-1. And here comes the pitch, and here he strikes him out, gets the second out of this inning, and that's 3 strikeouts now for Aguilera. Vance Law 0-for-1, lined out to the shortstop in his first at bat. Possible error if there's a throw involved. Here comes the pitch, and that's a single out to centre field. So let's have a look here. There are 2 outs, and we're going from second to home, which is a +2/+3. Gives him a 6. So unless centre fielder can drop that down, and he can't, so it's going to be a run comes in. He should be on second. So Andre Dawson comes in. Tim Wallach goes to second. And the game is tied. Tom Nieto 0-for-1, struck out in his first at bat. And here comes the swing, and Hay strikes him out again for his second strikeout of the game. But at the end of the top of the fourth, we're all tied at 1. So Bob Sebra on the mound, going to face Carter Strawberry and Kevin Mitchell, the heart of the Mets batting order. And the pitch is on its way, and he walks Carter, so that's his second walk of the game given up. Darryl Strawberry 0-for-1 with a strikeout. And here comes the pitch, and he's going to hit that out to third base. So is this going to be a double play? So we'll look at the numbers. A 1 will be a double play. It isn't. And Carter will get to second, so they'll just take the 5-3 out. And so man on second, and Kevin Mitchell coming to the plate. Now Carter is going to try and steal. So Carter has got a 20. Pitch out so he's going to steal third base. So Carter steals the third base. And so man on third, Kevin Mitchell. Here comes the pitch off the ballpark. And he's going to ground that out over to the second baseman. Now, are we going to go for home, or are we going to let them have the run, is the question. The infield will be halfway. So let's have a look at what happens if we go home. It's going to the second baseman. So the fielder rating will be -1. So Carter is a 2. The second baseman's fielder rating is a 3. So that's a 2. That's a 4. And then so 1 to 4 will get him at the plate. And he does, so he gets him at the plate, 6-4, and Mitchell reach on a fielder's choice. So rain out. Possible error if there's a throw involved. Here comes the pitch from Sebra. He's a right-hander, so he flies out to the centre fielder, and that will end the inning. So after 4, the Mets and the Expos are tied at 1, sorry. And we're going into the top of the 5th inning. Rick Aguilera is going to pitch to Sebra, Foley, and Webster. Sebra can pitch to 26, so he's got plenty of time. So they're going to let him bat. Oops. Get rid of that blue and let's use a D20. Here comes the pitch to Bob Sebra. He got on base last time. This time he hits the ball out to Wally Backman, and Backman over to his good buddy Keith Hernandez for a 4-3 out. And up comes top of the order Tom Foley. 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice and a strikeout in his plate appearances. And the pitch is on its way, and that's ball 4. So the second, actually, is his first walk given up. So will Foley try and steal? He won't. So up comes Mitch Webster. 1 for 2, caught stealing as his last time. And here comes the pitch, and he swings and he misses, and it's strikeout number 5 for Rick Aguilera. The second out of this inning. Tim Raines comes to the plate, 1 for 2, got a double in his first at bat. And here comes the pitch, and he swings, and he gets a double. Is that going to bring Tom Foley in, I ask myself. Let's have a look. Dees out to the left fielder, I believe it is. Yes, so it's out to Kevin Mitchell. So that's going to be a -1, but there's 2 outs. So that's a 0. So it is base running of 3. Kevin Mitchell's arm is a 0. So 1 to 3, and he'll get there. And he doesn't. He's actually caught out at the plate. So a 7-2 to end the inning. Not you, he's out 7-2. And at the end of the top of the fifth, the Mets and the Astros are all tied at 1. So we're going into the bottom of the fifth. Bob Sebra is going to pitch to Santana, Aguilera, and Lenny Dykstra. Here comes the pitch at the ballpark from Sebra. And that gets hit high into center field, and the center fielder Mitch Webster goes back to the warning track and makes the catch. And it's 1 out. Pitcher Rick Aguilera. Could be an error on a ground out here. So it's grounded out to the first baseman, who is Wayne Krenchicki. And it's not going to be an error, so he's going to step onto the bag, and Aguilera, second out. Lenny Dykstra coming to the plate. 1 for 2 with a double, and he scored in the third inning. Here comes the pitch, and he grounds that back to the first baseman, who steps on the bag, Krenchicki, whatever his name is. And the end of the fifth, we go into the top of the sixth with the score tied at 1-1. And Rick Aguilera on the mound is going to be pitching to the heart of the batting order, Dawson, Wallach, and Krenchicki. So Andre Dawson is 1 for 2 with a run. And he pitches, and it takes the ball forward for the second walk given up by Aguilera. Is he going to try and steal a base? 5-4. And he's going to try and steal. So that's 12, 13, and 14. 1 to 14. And he gets there. So a stolen base puts him on to second base. And up comes Tim Wallach. Game tied at 1. No outs. Man on second. And there's a wild pitch, and it's going to move Dawson over to third. So, man on third. Here comes the pitch, and he's going to walk Wallach for his third walk of the game. And that's going to bring Wayne Krenchicki to the plate. 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Men on first and third. No outs. So left-hander on the question marks. Oh, it's going to be a single. So he gets out a single. Past the pitcher. So that's going to drive Andre Dawson in. So first to third, if he's a 4 or a 6, so Wallach will stay at second. So run comes in, and we've got men on first and second with no out. And it's Vance Law. Three, 4. Could be a range play at the ballpark. So it's hit out to left fielder Kevin Mitchell. Let's see if he makes the play. And he doesn't, so it's a single, could be a double. So is he going to stretch this to a double? So his base running is a 3 minus Mitchell's arm, which is a 0. So 1 to 3, and he makes a double, and he gets a double. So that will bring in Tim Wallach, and Kunichi will stay at third. We'll stop at third, and Tim Nito comes up. So 2 runs in. This is going to be the last batter before Aguilera is tired. And he strikes him out. So he gets his 6th strikeout and the first out of the game. So now he's officially tired, but he's going to continue to pitch, try and get through this inning. Bob Sebra. And it's going to be a pitch. Here comes the pitch to Sebra. And he's going to get a single. So that is going to drive in Kranchicki, and it's a single out to the left fielder. So an S7 is second to home, is a +1. There's only 1 out. So he is a 3, becomes a 4, and the right fielder's arm is a 0. So 1 to 4 will bring him home. And he will. So that's going to bring home Vance Law, and that is going to be the end of Rick Aguilera for this game. So let's have a look at his numbers. He's pitched 5.1 innings. He's given up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs. Could still have an earned run coming to him. How many hits has he had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. No home runs, 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. So as we go to the bullpen, Aguilera comes out of the game. And it's going to be Jesse Orozco who's going to come in. Because he came in the game, and so we used the ones that came in first. So right-handed pitcher. Let's get the pitcher card. We'll put him in his position. So devastating it. Blow for the Mets there. As up comes Tom Foley, top of the order. Man on first. Didn't do this strategy roll, but make a difference. He's not going to do anything. 6-6. Here comes the pitch, and he strikes him out. So gets the second out of the inning, his first strikeout, and up comes Mitch Webster. Two outs, the infield is back. And here comes the pitch from Jesse Orozco. And that's going to be a single out past the first base. Keith Hernandez. And Sebra stops at second, so man on first and second, 2 outs, and Tim Raines is going to come to the plate. So they're battered around at the end of this at bat. And here comes the pitch from Orozco and gets hold of that, but it's out to centre fielder Lenny Dykstra, stood in the right position, Canacorn, and easy catch. 4 runs coming over though. And so at the end of the top of the 6th, the Expos lead the Mets by a score of 5-1. So Backman, Hernandez, and Carter coming up. Need to find a response early if they can. Here comes the swing. And he hits the ball out to Vance Lowe at second base, and it's an easy ground out. 1 away. Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez is 0 for 1 with a walk so far in this game. And here comes the pitch from Sebra. And he grounds that out to Tim Wallach, who easily gets that ball over to Krenchicki for the second out. Gary Carter. 0 for 1 and a walk. And a stolen base. So he's been quite busy. Possible error. Here comes the pitch. And he grounds out to the hits a ground ball out to the third baseman, Tim Wallach, who collects it, bobbles it a little bit, but manages to get the ball over for a 1-2-3 up and down. And at the end of the 6th, the Mets trail the Expos by 5-1. Jesse Orozco can pitch to another 3 batters before he gets tired. And he's against Dawson, Wallach, and Krenchicki. Here comes the pitch, and he strikes him out. No messing from Orozco. Gets the outside corner with the curveball, and Tim Wallach comes to the plate. So here comes the pitch, and hits that out to Santana. 6-3, easy play. And up comes Wayne Krenchicki. 1 for 3 with a run, an RBI, and a strikeout in this game so far. And here comes the pitch to Krenchicki. And he grounds that to Hernandez, who flicks it over to Orozco for a 3-1. And that will end the top of the 7th as we go into the 7th inning stretch. Ballpark, crowd, crackerjack, comeback, home team, shame, 3 strikes you're out ball game. There you go. You've had your 7th inning stretch. And coming up for the Mets, losing at this moment by 5-1. The actual score was a 4-1 win for the Mets in this game. So Strawberry, Mitchell, and Knight coming up. And here comes the pitch. And Strawberry gets a double, so that's a good start for the Mets. Can they add to this? So up comes Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell 0 for 1 and a fielder's choice. He reached it at his last at bat. And here comes the pitch from Sebra, who can pitch to 26. So 9, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. He'll be tired at the end of this inning if he gets them all out in one go. And that is a line drive out to the shortstop. Now, will he get... If it's a 2 or a 3, he gets a double play. It isn't, it's 1. So Strawberry holds at second. Ray Knight. Here comes the pitch, and he strikes him out. So his 4th strikeout. And Rafael Santana comes to the plate. This will be the last batter before he gets tired. So here comes the pitch to Here comes the pitch to Santana. 3-6 against a right. It's going to ground that out to the third baseman, and that will end the inning. And they leave Strawberry, the lead off runner, on base. So Jesse Orozco is going to come out because he's fatigued. And who are we going to bring in? Roger McDowell's going to come in. So McDowell. So he pitched 1.2 innings. Jesse Orozco. Had 1 hit, no runs. No walks, and struck out 2. So Roger McDowell is going to have to take a slot, and we got a shot. It's got to be Mookie Wilson that comes in, unfortunately. If we're going to bring him in here. Well, I can't bring Wilson because of that. I could take Kevin Mitchell out, but I wouldn't want to do that. Oh, Mitchell, can he play shortstop? He can. Right, so here we go. This is going to be interesting. So Kevin Mitchell is going to go over to shortstop. So let's get Mitchell's number on shortstop. He is a 215 -1. And the rest is the same. And then, so he's going to move to shortstop. He's going to come out, and that is going to be Roger McDowell coming in at the 8th slot. And then Mookie will come in at the 9th slot. Let's get Mookie's card. Must be out here somewhere. Oh, there he is. Switch hitter, and he's going to come in at left field. joys of the NL when you have to think about your lineup, not like this nonsense that you have in the AL where you can just bring a pitcher in anywhere anytime you want because you don't have to worry about the lineups. So there we go, and we're now in the top of the 8th, still a 5-1 lead. So McDowell will pitch to Law, Nieto and Sebra if he's going to bat. So here comes the pitch, and has he hit him? He has. So Vance Law gets on base by the hit by pitch. And so man on first. Tom Nieto, the catcher, is looking for the golden sombrero. Can he avoid it? 6-2. Here comes the pitch from Roger McDowell. And he's going to ground that out to the first baseman now. Double play. 4. First baseman, and he's a right-handed batter. So the shortstop. So that's a 3. 1 to 3 will be a double play, and it is. So it's a double play. 3-6-3. So Bob Sebra, and they're going to bring him out as we expected. And bring in Wallace Johnson as the pinch hitter. Two outs, nobody on. And he walks him. So Johnson walks. And top of the order comes up Tom Foley. Oh for 2 with a walk and a fielder's choice. 6-6. Here comes the pitch to Foley. And he grounds out to the first baseman, who steps on the bag to end the inning. And after the end of the top of the 8th, the Expos still hold this 4-run lead over the Mets. So the Expos are going to need a new pitcher. Andy McGaffigan. And he will come in the 9th spot. He's a right-handed pitcher. And let's set their line up properly. So Wallace is gone, pitcher's coming in. Andy McGaffigan, let's do the totals for Bob Sebra. Pitched 7 innings. 1, 2. Just 3 hits. No home runs, 1 run. It was earned. He walked 2 and he struck out 4. So there you have it. As we go into the bottom of the 7th, it's going to be Gaffigan. He's going to face Wilson, Dykstra, and Bachman. And here comes the pitch, and Wilson will hit that back to the first baseman, Wayne Krenchicki, for an unassisted out. And that's one away. Up comes Lenny Dykstra. Could be an error, but here comes the pitch. And he grounds that out to the first baseman again. Krenchicki and he collects it and steps on the bag for the second unassisted out to first baseman, Wally Bachman. Possible error if it's a grounder. Here comes the pitch. Starline 6, and it's going to hit that, flies out to the center fielder, Mitchell Webster, who makes the easy out for the end of the inning. And after 8, here at Shea, the Mets trail the Astros by 5 runs to 1. Roger McDowell can pitch to 7. He's already pitched to 4. So can he get 3 outs? Webster, Raines, and Andre Dawson. Here comes a pitch to Webster. And he gets a single out past Wally Bachman. So first base, second baseman lets the ball past Tim Raines. And the pitch, that goes out to the second baseman. We've got a double play possibility here. So that's going to be a 1. Who's the shortstop? Santana has gone, so it's not him. It's going to be Kevin Mitchell. So it can't be a double play, but it only plays at first. So Webster makes it to second. So man on second, 1 out. And Andre Dawson coming to the plate. So it's going to be, here comes the pitch at the ballpark. And that's going to fly out to the left fielder, Mookie Wilson, who makes the catch. Is he going to make anything of this from second base? No, he's going to stay at second. 2 outs, and Tim Wallach and Roger McDowell is now tired. There could be an error on a throw here. If there is a throw, here comes the pitch, and it's grounded out to the first baseman. So a third unassisted first base, and that ends the top of the 9th. So last chance saloon now for the Mets. They've got Howard Johnson, Gary Carter, and Darryl Strawberry coming up. McGaffigan can pitch to 7 batters, and he's pitched to 3. So can he get the last 3 outs? He's no save situation at the moment. So here comes the pitch from McGaffigan. And that's hit over to Tom Foley for the first out, a 6-3 ground out. And up comes Gary Carter, 0 for 1 of his home runs now. Here comes the pitch, and he walks him. So the first walk given up by McGaffigan. And Carter is going to steal the base. He's automatic. That's his second stolen base of the game. And up comes Darryl Strawberry. Possible error if there's a grounder. Here comes the pitch. I guess right, and he's going to double it. So he's going to double, and that will score Gary Carter. So Strawberry drives Carter in, and they're going to make a move straight away to the bullpen. So McGaffican pitched 1.1 innings. 1 hit, 1 run. They could be responsible for another one. Made 1 walk and no strikeout. So McGaffican comes out of the game. And in comes Dave Tomlin. Left-handed pitcher to a right-handed batter. Could have done with a righty, but he played, and he's the last one that did play. So and he's walked Kevin Mitchell. So brings up Ray Knight to the plate. Here comes the pitch. And he's walked Kevin Mitchell. Has walked Ray Knight. So we've got bases loaded. One out. And they're going to take Howard Johnson is going to come in. So Howard Johnson is going to come in for Roger McDowell. And they're going to take Dave Tomlin out. So Tomlin is a 0+2. So who have they got to come in? They're going to bring the closer in, Jeff Reardon. So the winning run is at the plate. A home run here would give us a victory for the Mets, and that would be a disastrous finish for this game for the Expos. And oh gosh, he's walked him. He's walked him. And that walks in Darryl Strawberry. So it's now 5-3. Mookie Wilson coming to the plate. Can they do anything to get these last 2 outs? It's been a disaster. It's 9th inning. Switch hitter, so he's going to hit left. It's a possible home run. Oh, it's a 15, and it's a 1-14. One to 14 home run, and it's a 15. So here comes the pitch. And he grounds that out to second baseman Vance Law. Is there a double play? So Wilson is a 1. So it's a 1, and the shortstop's arm. So it's a 1 for a double play. So it's not a double play. So they don't get the lead runner. So he will score. Second will go to third. First will go to second, and they'll get Wilson on a 4-3. But he does bring that run in, and so they're just one run away from tying the game. Lenny Dykstra, can he do it? Possible strikeout, left-handed pitcher, no. So here comes the pitch to Lenny Dykstra. And he hits it deep out to right field. Andre Dawson onto the warning track, and he makes the catch for the third out, and that will end the game. And the Mets will lose this game 5-4. But what a great finish in that final inning. So let's have a look at the numbers. Jeff Reardon pitched 0.2 innings. Was hit. Well, he wasn't hit. No hits. He did give up a run. He gave up 2 runs, actually, didn't he? Gave up 2 runs. None of them earned. 1 walk and no strikeouts. So the earned runs went to McGuffin and Tomlin. So 3, 4. They got 4 runs on 4 hits. The Mets, so that's not so bad. Roger McDowell pitched 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, not. Walked 1 and struck out none. So 12 hits for the Expos. The win. Game-winning RBI would have been the first one. So Wayne Kranchicki gets the game-winning RBI. The win goes to Bob Sebra, and the loss goes to Tricky Ricky Aguilera. And that is the end of the 100th game of this season for the Mets. And they get beaten 5-4, but in the end it became a very close run thing. Hope you enjoyed it. If you prefer me to give you what's happening off the cards rather than just moving on to the batters cards, just leave me a comment. So, you know, if you want me to say it's a possible strikeout and it's not a strikeout, so we're going to the batters card, rather than the way I've done it, which is just try and cut out all the things that don't happen off the pitcher's card and then just say, you know, the pitch to the batter or whatever. Then just leave a comment and I'll expand on the actual way that it's played, rather than just trying to commentarize it. So anyway, there will be a small video after this on the stats, because Dwayne Marks likes to see how the stats are going. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed this game, and until next time, thank you and goodbye.